pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, it's 7:05. Call the meeting to order. First item, as usual, is public comment. Anyone wishing to make a public comment should step forward.
Diana Klein, 420 Fairview Avenue, Hurley. About 2 meetings ago, I asked if we could use that, the board out front here and post the meetings. We're still not doing that, even though we said we would. I don't know if you understand, and you change the meetings all the time between West Hurley and Hurley, and somebody like myself, like I leave in the morning, I'm not looking at my computer all the time, I'm not looking at this website all the time. So I kind of plan my day, and it's like, I end up in West Hurley, only to come to find out that it's not there. And it doesn't just happen once in a while, it's been happening a lot. And I just want you to know that it's really hard on people to be making those changes at the last minute. But if you could use that board out here and put where the meetings are and when they are, I thought you said that you were gonna do that.
We have been used the board lately to promote our digital presence. We certainly can do that. I just wouldn't want to have to get into changing it constantly. Sadly, it's a very manual board. There's literally a box of letters back there, and you have to go sort them out.
We have 2 meetings a month.
Right.
So
if the consensus is that we want to use that space to note the 2 meetings, you know, what is it, the first and third Tuesday and where they are, we can absolutely do that.
I mean, we did send an announcement out well in advance that last week was canceled and that this postponed because people were sick and we didn't have quorum. So we did send an announcement out that this week it would be here because the fire department couldn't turn on a dime and accommodate us. So we do our best to communicate through the website and social
It's
media.
hard for people to keep up.
Yeah. This was
We
an
do our
odd.
best through social media.
This was an odd one because of the change. I didn't. Perhaps I misunderstood last time. Using the board for something that's the big board out there for something that's the same all the time.
Not the same all the time.
Well, it wasn't this month.
This is an anomaly though.
Well,
This
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is
otherwise
what it
it's,
is.
it's
It's,
first Tuesday, third Tuesday.
I would like to state that it's been changed more in the recent year than it has been in the past. When I changed it for the Memorial Day, it still had Happy Holidays on it.
That's true. That is very true.
So, so this is an old ongoing thing that's been going on for a long time, that sign has not been kept up to date. I appreciate everybody that's been doing it, including me, and everybody else that have been out there putting up the new signs.
Well, and I
And
just thought,
please don't interrupt me.
I'm sorry.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody. It is a very cumbersome thing and it's really hard to do.
It takes 2 people to operate that board
I kind of
because
fixed it a little bit now.
otherwise you get
together.
hit with a.
And it's also been broken and the lights didn't work either. So
Okay.
even at night, you couldn't even see it.
Right, and that board only works for people who live down here and who drive by it. It doesn't work for everybody, which is why we've been going to social media, the website alerts. You know, maybe you're not signed up for the website alerts and you can get on the website
I'm
alerts.
not, you know,
So,
I don't want, I'm not somebody that's on my phone constantly, so, you know, it doesn't work for me to be on social media. It's and if I misunderstood, I thought that I was told that they were gonna do it. If you're not gonna do it, then I won't be looking for it. I just thought that,
But you tell me if I'm wrong here, because I don't set town policy. I think you make a good point about this meeting tonight in particular, because because it had to be rescheduled. But I think when we just have the regular meetings, first and third Tuesday of every month, unnecessary because people who like to come for meetings should know that. But if we do have a special one, if we do have a specific change, yeah, I can see that makes sense to use that.
and we do
So,
send email alerts out
yeah.
too.
But that's noted for future meetings, so thank you for reminding me.
because I know I even gave the wrong information to people on all that. Everyone was really.
Well, it was posted a while ago.
Can I just note for the record, since we don't have the secretary here tonight, Member Humphreys, Member Bond, and Supervisor Knight are present
Thank
and
you.
have been present from the beginning, just so whoever has to type up these notes knows
Thank you.
we had quorum and people were in attendance. So,
Sorry about that.
go on.
Okay, anyone else? It's public comment.
Recreation Committee, are we actively looking for a secretary? Haven't seen anything. for
Aren't you the
recreation.
chair?
Is the recreation committee requesting posting of a secretary?
Well, I thought we discussed this before, without a secretary, she was the person who would get everybody together, she was paid.
Well, so that may have happened in the past. There is no paid secretarial position. The committee meetings are typically set by committee chairs, and
Who is our chair?
a note,
I'm the recreation chair.
and a note taker is
So,
usually
set up the
assigned at the meetings. So,
Okay, and because I did come, we used to have an office back here, and I came to get some information, and there's like nothing.
there's been no recreation person for years. My
Well, you're
entire-
not, well, you reached out to me last March about having the Easter egg hunt,
Wait.
so you must have something, but I don't have any.
No,
I
I
don't have
just,
any
look,
records.
I was brand new last year, and I saw your name as the chair listed on the list of committees. That's the extent of it. Shirley had resigned before I was even a board member. I've never met her.
Before you were a council person?
Before I was even a council person.
Oh, okay.
So I have no knowledge of that committee structure. As the chair and somebody who was active at the time, I figured that you were the person in the know. So, that's where it sits.
I'll note for the record too that member Simpson is just joining us.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay.
It is 7:12. Kristen?
Hi, Kristen Shar from the Climate Smart Task Force. And I just wanted to tell everyone that we did put in our submittal for Climate Smart Communities bronze certification in January. And it takes apparently a couple of months before we'll find out whether we're approved or not. So I have to be patient, and they may come back and say, well, we need you to change this or that before they'll give us points for it. So, we'll see. But I think we'll definitely, I think, get certified this year at some point. And we're starting, we enrolled in program with the Hudson Valley Hudson Valley Regional Council to perform a climate action plan. Now that we have our inventories, we can take the information from the inventories and create a plan based on the year. And actually, I was thinking, since we're also working on a comprehensive plan, there's some of the same things going on because we're going to need to reach out to the public as a part of that. And I don't want to create confusion between the two. And it's just, maybe we could join forces a little bit in some of this.
No, that's right. That's absolutely expectation.
So yes. Good. So I'll know more. We have our first meeting on Thursday. So I'll find out more about what's all entailed in that. And so I haven't gotten any completion certificates regarding the energy code training that are planned.
So that's curious, because we have them, and Simone was gonna scan them and send them to you, so
Okay.
it's, let me check your spam folder, and I'll check in with her again tomorrow about that.
Okay.
I know that the code enforcement officials who took the training were going to try to send the PDF that they had on to you directly, and they ran into some technology issues because those PDFs are in a portal that it was challenging for them to just like export them or whatever, so, it's the state system that
Yeah.
those, so,
Yeah,
anyway.
I received that.
Yeah, so I'll have tomorrow, get those out to you.
Yeah, and I'll check my spam folder. But just for everybody's information, if it's a Clean Energy Communities program, and if we submit documentation that our people have completed this training, we get points toward becoming a Clean Energy Community. 4 actions, and we are certified as a clean energy, which is a good thing for grants and so on. We've already got some points from the solar rise. And we'll get points once we get certified as a climate smart community, we'll also get clean energy points for that, so just recognize those.
Which will make us more eligible for grants.
Yes. And also, we are going to undertake, it's called energy, municipal building energy benchmarking this year. And that involves us creating, it's basically a spreadsheet on this energy navigator tool that's provided by the EPA. And once we have it set up, we're hoping that maybe we could just become a part of the processes, payment process maybe, of when we get, like, for example, Central Hudson Bill, that, the clerk could also enter the information on this energy navigator, and that way we can, track our energy use, and then we get a yearly report of how we're doing and where our, expenditures are and so on. It'll help us keep track of that. Yeah.
So the vouchering process is now through the bookkeeper, so that's,
Yeah, move forward.
that happened in my office, and so I'm part of it.
And that is also clean energy communities thing, so very important to go. And it's a good thing. Thank you very much.
Okay, are there any council members who wish to provide any reports or updates? All right, on to new business. Buildings and grounds issues. So, everyone will see that we have new flooring in the hallway in the clerk's office. That's a direct result of a burst pipe. We ended up with quite a number of inches of water, in part because plumbing was not maintained and we were unable to shut off the fixture. So it took a little time to get to the main shut off. And anyway, so the result is we have a nice new floor. In the process of, I kind of took an opportunity to look at everything in the building with a set of eyes to hopefully fix and prevent some things, bad things from happening. And discovered that the exterior wall of the town hall on that side has water damage because the gutters weren't maintained. The gutter troughs are too small, the downspout's not connected, and it's creating some undermining of the slab. There's concrete blocks that are showing moisture damage and things like that, so it's not good. This is how things are here. So I had a gutter company come and just take a look. Didn't cost us anything to do that. It's been suggested to us that we increase the size of the trough. On that side of the building, that we replace the downspouts, even though they are the appropriate size that we need. They're not in very good condition, and in at least one place they're not connected to the trough. On this side, it's possible to reuse the downspouts. They also suggested cover over the gutter on that side so that it would prevent leaves and things from climbing it up. It's not as necessary on that side because there aren't the trees that there are over there. So, I feel like it's kind of urgent that there's water damage happening and that we need to stop that. I also think we need to have the town engineer look at the wall of the building. So, the town board's approval, I'll do that.
And I make a request?
Sure.
The tree that's growing in the gutter,
Yeah,
can we not kill it? Can we just replant it somewhere?
yeah. There's a tree
Yes,
growing.
it's a tree growing in the gutter.
Yeah.
Which probably means once we go through, start pulling all that stuff out, the roof is probably going to need to be worked on over that day.
Yeah, I think we also might want a roof assessment, so I think we'll have the engineer take a look at that as well.
Do that, or we could just let stuff grow on the roof.
Well, you know, we could let it go and let the same thing happen at Okay.
Judge, so I received a call from Janet Briggs
Okay.
about the park. There's some refuge in the area.
No,
Could everybody please speak louder?
So
This
apparently
heating
there-
system is so
yeah,
noisy.
it's a little loud. So apparently, council member Simpson received a phone call that there's some garbage in the park. That's been taken care of. So I don't know when this call happened, but it's,
I got a message on my phone.
okay, so that's-
okay.
that's fixed.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you for the information. It would be really helpful if folks would actually call town hall, but, you know.
And by the way,
Yep,
that was discussed with someone who was working for us on the park, to take them 200 yards down the road and take them to the transfer station, because they keep track of them and monitor the amount that come from the park, the highway, here, everywhere else, because we keep better records on the amount of refuse we're bringing up there, that we literally really aren't charging for because it's town stuff. But this will help, this helps us be able to tell the amount of garbage that is being taken out to the poundage and everything to give us proper
so that we
readings.
can reconcile it.
That we reconcile it all and do it right, because it hasn't been done before. And I was told they were done in fall, when I asked to have them removed.
Yeah, so it wasn't true in
So
the
it
fall,
wasn't done.
but it is now. Oh, wait, any comment?
No.
Public comment is closed. Okay, so, on to the next item. Town board will have a proposal in front of you to fund some programs at the libraries. I'm interested to hear what folks think. Librarians came today. And they knew that this would be a topic of conversation. So basically, the proposal is that the town board fund, out of the recreation budget, approximately $5,000 that would go toward bus trip to the Bronx Zoo, a summer reading program event, a pet celebration day, soup and bingo at the West Hurley Firehouse, chair yoga for seniors, a Halloween program. I guess that's essentially it. So the ask is $5,700. Obviously, the town board can figure out what you want to do. Thumbs up or thumbs down.
I mean, I think these kinds of activities are absolutely necessary. I think you can't, you know, I mean, we need to have opportunities for people in the town to mix and match, so to speak. So, you know, I wouldn't oppose anything on this at all.
Anybody else?
I'm absolutely not opposed to it, but the one thing that I wonder is, there's certain budgets that gets put through to the town, to the taxpayers. One of them is libraries, one of them's ours, one's firehouse. I'm wondering if there's an intermixing basically of some of this money that's being transferred from one to the other.
So I can answer this. So the libraries would not necessarily have the resources to do these things. Like if you look at the description, the libraries do contribute toward these things, but they're not, it's a share with the town. So for instance, the summer reading program, the town's contribution would be $500. The libraries would cover the staff time.
Okay, my question is, then, follow up on that. If we've been doing this, and from as long as I can remember being here, that this has kind of been done, which, again, I have no problem with, and I love the idea that we're offering some things to the people in our town. But is it the proper way to do it from going from town budget and offerings to library offers? Because they're separate. We don't regulate them, they don't regulate us. Should that not be a committee in our own town that's been doing this all along? All of these things seem to be stuff that should have been offered by some sort of a committee.
There was a whole department.
Possibly recreation, I don't know.
There was a department at one time. That department no longer exists. That was
What was that called?
That was removed from the budget, I believe, under Supervisor Bellows.
So we were offering things where we cut that, like we cut the police department
Yep.
and everything.
Yep. Anyway, so am I getting that the consensus on the town board is to fully fund the request?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the funding that they're asking for is basically the cost share.
Right, it's a cost share.
They're not asking for the full amount.
No, it's not going to, right. It's-
Right, so I
This is
don't.
also, it's reimbursement typically, like they submit the invoices.
You're right, right. So I don't have any opposition to this at all.
Okay, very good. All right, moving along. So the situation with town vehicles is that we currently own an electric Chevy Bolt and a gasoline Jeep Grand Cherokee that's used typically by the building department, but not exclusively. With the addition of the zoning enforcement officer and a part-time code enforcement officer, in addition to the full-timer who was already here, we are down vehicles, which means folks are having to drive their own. We also have been advertising for a maintenance person, and we cast a pretty wide net and ultimately ended up with a temp agency placement doing some maintenance for us. So we could use a pickup truck or something for that as well. So we're thinking 2 pickup trucks. There's other towns have shared that the waiting list and the back order of vehicles, particularly hybrids or electric vehicles, it's years. So there's a bit of a sense of urgency. The zoning enforcement officer went to look around and see what was available and submitted a mini bid through the state system. So apparently there is unfortunately, gas-powered pickup truck available in the $40,000 range, which is a good amount below list, obviously. We haven't received the bid back, but we are expecting probably Ben Mal will respond. They only have one off the state bid site, so in some conversations, we discovered that there is a pickup truck that was purchased by the West Hurley Fire District that they don't need, and they approached the dealership to turn it in, but they may be willing to sell it to the town. It doesn't have a lot of mileage on it. I don't know what the implications are if we can just, because it's one taxable district to another taxable district, if that's a possibility for us to explore. But, we think that they would want around 36,000 for it. So, oh, interesting. So I was just informed with the attorney that we are exempt from our own policy if we buy it from the West Hurley Fire District. My thought would be, because we wouldn't do a lease, we would do an outright purchase, that this would come out of ARPA money. It's to provide better service to the residents of the town at the end of the day, so.
So that would be one of two.
So that would be 2 of 2, we'll get one on state bid
Okay.
and one from the fire district.
Let me ask you, how much money is left in ARPA?
We have $338,391.11.
And we have to spend this by the end of this year.
No,
Is there a time limit?
yes,
2024, 2023?
2024, I think. Yes. December 31, 24. I believe.
Well, you sure, I remember someone that night was 2023.
It's either 24 or 26, so I'll double check it, but yeah, it needs to be spent. Town board should also note that this does not include, that amount of money does include the $105,000 that we're putting toward a systemic revaluation, right, that we passed last year, which got delayed because the vendor couldn't do it. So we're fine, that'll still leave us with a nice, chunk of money to figure out what else we want to do. So,
It's
Two
not,
vehicles.
it doesn't need to be like candy store money where we just spend,
I don't think we have been,
no, we haven't, that's
right,
what I'm
we've
saying.
been very
I
cautious
think we
about
do
it.
very,
The two
very
vehicles we
small.
have here, we have the electric and we have the gas power. They're both used all the time, basically.
I mean, obviously, there's times when they sit, but they're out pretty consistently. You know, the electric car particularly is used to go to the accountants, go to the bank, go, run some errands. So it's, also the electric car is, not a utility vehicle. You can't throw a ladder in it or anything like that, so.
How are we doing with the recreation park? The cleaning crew there, or the maintenance person over there?
So, as I said, the maintenance person is through a staffing agency.
Right, I know that though. I
He
know
just
that.
started 2 days ago. Yeah, no,
I'm
he
just
started
saying,
yesterday.
But how are we doing with applications for that position? Are there people applying?
I didn't really have applicants, The staffing agency sent us 3 people to interview. Outside of that, I had 2 people from another town who were interested. I talked to them. They are paid by those, well, in the case of the one individual, he makes a lot more at the other town. And he's got a lot more skill, right? He can build walls even. And he also wanted to be full-time with benefits, so anyway, didn't find anybody who was interested in 30 hours a week, At the end of the day, the person who stepped in, his name is Matt, he lives in Marbletown, he's doing a great job already, and he's only been here 2 days.
And we're paying for his mileage to and from the farm and so forth? At this point?
We will until we get unless he takes a town vehicle, right? So, okay. Did the town board receive the composting proposal?
There's a bunch in those. You don't know.
Yeah.
I see one.
Do you have an extra one over? No.
So, UCRRA has increased their fees per ton. of solid waste, garbage essentially, to $110 a ton. I think we all understand that food waste
That's it.
comprises approximately 40% of the waste. And composting is a benefit to the earth and also to our wallet. A year ago, I first met with Greenway Environmental Services, and just the timing wasn't right a year ago. So they came back to us and made a proposal and some suggestions that we explore engaging in a public-private partnership. So to that end, the request, I think from at the county level, they really want us to go zero waste.
Right. There's legislation in effect to that effect,
Right.
that it needs to be done. So the question is when and who's going to do it.
Right.
And I think, or you think.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So I managed to, I had a meeting with Greenway on the 1st of, Wednesday, the 1st of February, to discuss, to see what the system was. It's an absolutely phenomenal system. They don't have, their system doesn't have, there's no odor. I mean, I don't know how they do what they do, but the way they have managed to process their waste is absolutely amazing. Apparently, they also work with SUNY Pupils and a few other organizations around and about, but they're looking for a partnership with a municipality. And Hurley has come up. They've come here to have conversation with Melinda, and following that, I met with them at their property. So I would encourage board members to go to this facility. The process to engage with them in a public-private partnership is not going to be trivial. A number of steps have to be taken, but I think one of the first steps, in principle, I think we're all agreed that we need to do something about disposal of our waste in a way that's sustainable. So, and they present a really, really good option for us to achieve that. The other thing I noticed on their proposal was remediating PFAS chemicals from leaking landfills. Now, I don't think we have leaking landfills, but whatever organic compounds that are present in any runoff water that we have, there's a possibility that their system might be able to help with that. So my suggestion would be that Climate Smart and CAC and ourselves kind of have a conversation with Greenway Environmental Services to see what the best route forward might be for them, and also to be very clear that it's not a fait accompli. They need to go through a process, just like any other bidder would have to go through a process. But what I've seen is really impressive, and I think each town board member should find an opportunity to go there and look at their system.
So I have not been there. Councilmember Humphreys, Councilmember Bombs, and I'll offer it to Councilmember Martin. I'm happy to have my office set up a time for us to go.
I did have the pleasure to talk with him for a day though. And actually, we took a tour up there.
Yeah, we walked around our own
We
facility.
walked around our own facility, and it was wonderful meeting. Absolutely agree. I mean, getting as close to zero waste
Yeah.
is a huge goal. And now that Upgrade, even if people go through or go through any of the pickups, it's single stream recycling, which ends up most of it doesn't get recycled. Not most, probably not anyway, but at least the transfer station is still single stream, the way it's broken down, into the way it's put into the bins. So we're doing our damnedest on what we can do up there. The guys are doing fabulous.
I would also add that there is a price advantage to working with them. You know, again, the idea is, you know, whoever comes up bid-wise, we'd have to look at everybody collectively. But the idea is, you know, with an increase in disposal to $110 a ton, you know, this company could come in, I'm sure, along
Much
to
less.
set them.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's not trash anymore now, it becomes compost.
Right.
It becomes compost, which is another product that can be used, you know. So this is a pretty nifty solution they got up there.
And we got a bill from the highway department for what, 1 million pounds of compost or something? Some huge amount of compost that they bought from us. If we were to do more of that, or use even the piles we already have up there of compost.
It'd be a money saver.
I'm not sure why we talk.
So, my suggestion is that we look at doing a resolution next week that would basically sign on to what the county wants in terms of waste reduction, and at the same time to issue an RFQ
Correct.
to provide services, and we'll see where it goes from there. I think I'm gonna change the order of this a little bit. The last item I'm gonna talk about now, even though technically it's old business because we've talked about this before, but, so the town board may remember that we have issued an RFP for work at the old library now twice. No responses either time. We can go at this one of two ways. We could reissue it a third time and see if maybe just the timing was bad before, or we can break down the work into separate RFPs and see if that would, you know, get us any greater results. I'm just thinking that, you know, maybe it was too broad. It included things, you know, it included insulation and air sealing, but it also included heat pumps. It also, and so you may have, you know, a company could look at that and say, well, I do this, but I don't do that. I do that, but I don't do this, and maybe just was scared off of it. So,
I think for doing something like that, that would be fine for some of the different, like you said, like the heat pumps. That kind of stuff is separate, but the literally construction of pulling the roof off, replacing the roof that needs to be
well,
done.
the roof would be a separate
What-
RFP.
What I'm
but that
saying
also
is,
needs to be done.
when we can, by having a general contractor come in before he has people to do all those things, and they're done in order, if we hire 5 different people doing, then we're on every one of theirs timeline, which means one guy rips the roof off, let's say, or does the demolition, and then the next guy's job is to do the roof. But if he comes back and he goes, guess what? Can't do it for him. Now we don't have the roof. There's certain things that need to be stayed together as a group, and there's certain things we can't take off, but we have to be very careful of how we do that when you're doing construction.
Anybody have any other thoughts?
I mean, the only thing I'd be concerned about is probably the heat pump side of things. I mean, the rest of it is straight construction.
Yeah. I say put the RFP out again on the month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll have that ready for next time as well. So next week, we will have 2 public hearings for local laws that we've already discussed. One is the corner lot. We received response back from Ulster County Planning, so we can go ahead and do that. And then we also have the law allowing alternates on the boards. County came back again, no impact, so we'll have a public hearing for that as well. Also next week, we will have the town attorneys and the town engineer here, and residents who have all voiced concerns about the drainage issues on Brittany Drive will be in attendance. I don't know if Andrew, you want to say anything more about that, other than it's happening?
Sure, yeah, I mean, we're still looking legally into what the town can do. I'll have answers hopefully next week. I've had a town research guy looking into the properties around Brittany Drive, and I think it's Dover Court, the little one that comes off of Brittany Drive there, for a while. I actually went out there myself in November, and some of the folks who lived on Brittany Drive, nice enough to go into the backyards and see. It's always easiest to talk about things that you've actually seen yourself. You know, the one thing to report right now, I guess, when this subdivision was created to begin with, decades ago, the original map filed in the 60s, I think, with the county clerk's office indicates drainage easements that exists in some of these folks' backyards, but gives me no further details, and I'm looking for the actual legal documentation still that says who those easements were in favor of and what was the extent. Who could go back there, when could they go back there, for what purpose, what could they actually do back there? Because obviously, I don't want the town to incur any, expenses doing something that they already legally have the right to do,
Right.
even if folks have forgotten about it. So hopefully, I'll have answers on that by this time next week, and we can obviously coordinate with the town administrator before then.
Thank you very much.
So, let me ask you a question. So there are a few other places that need drainage issues addressed. This is very specific, and at some point, I guess we'll have some kind of RFP or some kind of proposal to address some of these issues. Are we going to be looking at doing this one at a time, or are we trying to get?
Because each situation is different, we know that we have a bit of an issue up on Spencer Drive. Brittany Ramirez has already been up there. I think I'm not in receipt of any reports. I did speak with Victoria about that. She was gonna reach out to Brittany Ramirez and try to get, or Peak, and see if we could get reports from either one of them.
I'm not sure that they've completed everything yet.
Well, they did one back in 2018.
Okay, but the town board was never in receipt of that. So I have no report,
I think I might have.
to go by.
Yeah, I might have.
Okay, all right. If you do, that'd be great.
Well, it should be on record then. You have,
If you have a copy, it should be on record, but I haven't been able to get my hands on it, so.
I will agree with Gregory on this. If any of you want to take a drive one day of the 52 miles of road we have, you will notice there's a lot of collapsing culvert pipes, a lot of issues with drain all over this town, and with,
I get the complaints.
and I had them 4 years ago, and still have them from the same people. And actually had the woman show up and crying at a town board. This stuff needs to be fixed, especially with global warming. You look at the winter, look at all the water we have and the drainage. I can name at least half a dozen places that our catch bins are not doing what they need to, probably due to plugging and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had another resident in my office last week about this,
Oh, yeah. So this is an ongoing thing. I think it really needs, and this, I want to make a point that I love our highway department guys, but we need to really worry more about, instead of doing a couple major projects a year, that we start looking at probably 30 different other issues that we have that are a lot smaller, and can be fixed a lot easier. You know, it's gonna make it's gonna stop people screaming at us,
Yeah.
and we don't have much say in it.
Okay, so, what else is coming up next week? So, credit card machines are on their way. We will start with accepting credit and debit cards physically at the transfer station and in the clerk's office. At this point, we're not going to accept online payment because there's additional complications with that, that it's not as secure. Municipalities are, need to take a little more care and make sure that it's secure, so.
Linda, question, you said,
Yes.
we're gonna accept credit card, debit cards at the transfer station
Yeah.
here. To buy what, punch cards or to pay for their,
Either one, if folks wanna use their debit card to just pay for, pay for disposal.
so we actually don't need to have the punch cards then?
Folks don't have to, if they prefer to, they can, If it were me, if I were charging on a credit card, I don't think that I would wanna charge a small amount on a credit card, but I might be more comfortable with using the debit card. So, anyway, it's up to folks to decide what they wanna do, but that should, stem the tide of the screaming masses, so, let's,
And I've promised not to announce it publicly until we know it's working.
Yes.
yes, so we're not gonna go announce it until it's all, in place and working properly. Goes along with our under promise, over deliver instead of over promise and under deliver. Let's see. Can't think of anything else right now that's going to be on the agenda next week. If anything pops up, I'll let you all know. Anybody on the board have anything else to?
I just want to apologize for being late. I found myself in the wrong place.
Sorry.
And that's